Sorry, I'm done. I'm done.
Who are these people?
I'm Peter Garachi.
I'm Alex Bashira.
They started a podcast.
Why don't you call it Kill You Last?
Yeah.
To honor 80s action movies.
He just put on brand new army pants in the heat.
There will be action.
He is in the middle of a field, surrounded.
More action.
Totally exposed, and he doesn't get hit once.
Tension.
You had, like,
Peter, I
Schwarzenegger
gotta ask you, if you stop hitting the table.
This is a movie that really is the template for the 80s action movie.
Peter Garachi. Alex Bashira. They will kill you last. Podcast.
Zach!
Zach?
Is your first time hearing that?
I think I don't know. It sounds familiar.
Somebody
I've
made
definitely
that
heard
for
it.
us. A guy from, like, a voiceover actor from Abu Dhabi reached out to us and just made it for us.
I was gonna ask who did the voice because it sounds like the trailer guy. Like,
He's
guy's
very
incredible.
talented.
Yeah, his name is Vocal. He's a voiceover guy in the Middle East.
Yeah.
how convenient that that's his name and that's also his job.
Well, it's not his name. It's his Instagram handle.
It's a traditional Bedouin tribal name.
Yeah, Vocal.
Shout out to that guy. That's awesome.
He's like, everyone in his family is a
unbelievable.
tent maker and a voiceover actor.
All right, don't insult the guy. He's a nice guy.
No, he was great.
He's a listener.
Did people make tents? What the fuck? What,
Yeah, I
what
don't
are you
even
saying about
understand.
tent makers?
Yeah,
Alex?
I honestly don't. I thought, I'm racist.
Yeah, it's
I don't even know. I don't even know why.
Can't get canceled if we tried. Son of a bitch.
I mean, yeah, I'm
Hey,
just
I'm
begging
on. You
to
never
be.
know.
Zach, you are our first trilogy. You are the first person to
so.
be back for the third time.
That's right.
I'm
And
fucking
we're doing an unofficial, like, Italian American trilogy with you.
I love it. Hey, sit
Rock-
down, Uno, boys.
Rocky
Raise a glass.
4, Pope of Greenwich Village, and Raging Bull.
Oh my god, I'm so happy to be doing this movie too. I love this movie because it's such a weird conglomeration of like it's where Rocky and Goodfellas meets for me.
Right.
Because it's a Chartoff Winkler film. It's also Scorsese. I'm pretty sure Bill Conti did some of the music, and it's just so funny. Seeing Pesci with the toupee the whole time too.
Oh my god!
And
I
haven't. Go ahead, Peter.
Not
Sorry.
to cut you off. I watching the movie. I was like, maybe I'll just do that. Maybe I'll just, you know what I mean? Maybe I'll just wear a rug like that and just pretend like that was me all along.
Well, do you have sides still?
Yeah, I got it to like here.
Can you
like,
grow it out? I've never seen.
I could do. You know the music teacher from the Simpsons.
Yeah.
Like when I'm ready to give up, like that's what I'm gonna do. It's just gonna be long on the sides and in the back, and then just nothing on top.
I could see that actually.
Fair enough.
Like a pale blue sweater vest, like that kind of look.
Kind of like the principal in Freaks and Geeks.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
But no, he just because this is 10 years before. Like Pesci was already old in
I know.
1980.
In every movie, he's already old.
Yeah, which I love. I don't know. I don't know if I want to give it away right away. I do not love this movie.
Okay.
But I love
All right.
fucking Pesci. This might be my favorite Pesci.
What? So going off of that, then, Peter, I have to know what are your problems with the movie?
So I watched it again. I watched it twice since we started talking about it. I had been thinking about it in my mind. I've been thinking about Pesci. I've been thinking about Scorsese. I have a lot of problems with Scorsese, and I think this movie. All right, I thought about it a lot today. I think Taxi Driver is the great Martin Scorsese movie, and I think I think that's the great Robert De Niro performance too.
That's not a crazy thing to say. I mean, it's an amazing movie.
Yeah,
but
I think that the thing is
knowing who me and you are, like I'm amazed that it's not Goodfellas.
Yeah,
Like,
Goodfellas.
So-
That's it for me.
It's because the problem I have with Scorsese is that his movies always just drop off in
Too
the third
long. Yeah.
It's true.
It's not even.
that
It's
with
not
this
to the
too.
length. Like this movie, and we just did Goodfellas, me and Alex, a couple weeks ago.
That's
and it's
the one I
amazing.
listened to,
It's amazing
so-
to go back to Goodfellas and
I didn't
realize
realize it
how.
was-
it's amazing to realize how many of the great parts of Goodfellas happen in the first
It's
hour
the first
of
act.
Goodfellas.
Yeah.
The spider scenes and the killing of Billy Bats and pretty much all the great Pesci stuff happens in the beginning of the movie.
For our older listeners, it's the first DVD.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I
I
remember
have it
when
on DVD.
when I first watched Goodfellas, it was on 2 DVDs, or it was like a flip DVD, one of those old flip DVDs. Or something. I got it from Blockbuster, and I just watched. And I'd never seen the movie before, and I watched it alone. And I thought, when the first disc ended, that was the movie.
Oh shit!
And I was like, oh, that's a crazy ending.
What was the ending? Do you remember where it ended?
It ended
when they kill Spider.
It ends in Janice Rossi's apartment.
Oh yeah.
The first DVD ends in Janice Rossi's apartment, and then that was it. And there weren't any credits. It didn't say this too. It didn't say shit. And I was just like, that's a fucking crazy way to end a movie.
Yeah, I mean this.
I was like, did he get whacked? I thought it was like The Sopranos ending.
Right.
I was like, did he get whacked? What happened? Like, and, but I'm just an idiot. And then I put the other disc in.
Scorsese doesn't he has a weird thing to when he get later in his career, like his movie, like the tone of his movies are weird, where they're funny not on purpose.
Yeah.
And it started with The Departed. Remember in The Departed when people just started getting murdered and it started to become funny?
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be horrific.
Yeah.
Like it's a weird thing. And even in this movie, it's like all of a sudden, like Pesci's gone and De Niro's. I'm like, what the fuck is going on with this movie? But like the first couple of scenes with him and Pesci are out of it. Like this movie would have been better as like a series of sketches, because I'm like, I don't know what it adds up to, but like,
it would be. I've thought about this a lot, just coming from a theater background. This would make a very easy stage adaptation.
Yeah.
There's not a whole. There's not. That's exactly. There's not a whole lot of special effects that you couldn't do in a theater setting. And honestly, I think it plays out better that way, because a play is usually about 2 hours, whereas people aren't going to be sitting there going like, Jesus, where does this go? Whereas like you have that whole montage, the biggest part of this movie that I hate is the fights you don't get to see.
Yeah.
When it starts giving you like newspaper clippings, and then you see like the video of him and Vicky, and I love that because it's like very kitschy, it's very 40s, it's awesome, and like it builds that without doing a ton of dialogue. It's more show not tell, which I always love. But you also have like these moments where like you want to like the fight scenes, and I gotta say, compared to Rocky, these are not great boxing scenes. Comparatively, they're very stylized. Like the amount, like just how. Remember when he's taking the dive? Against Bobby, whatever.
Yeah.
And he's just getting punched in the face, and he's not even like I don't give a fuck who punches you in the face. I've been punched in the face a lot.
Right.
I don't give a fuck who punches you in the face. You're not taking 6 just straight to the chops from anyone. Like it's just not. It's not really possible. I'm not saying that Jake LaMotta was not one of the toughest guys to ever fucking live. Because if you watch the old fights, like the Ray Robinson fight that he never rocked it down, right? That guy stayed on his feet the whole goddamn fight. Yeah. And they had to stop it. Like
never got me down.
That's a real fight that, a lot of these fights, they all happen.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of the film for them and stuff. So it's like funny for me because like I'm like, okay, here's the reality versus like the stage or the screen. The
HD especially shows how bad the fight choreography is in this movie. You could see how far the punch and I know in Rocky 2 they're not punching each other.
Oh, they're not even close.
In this movie especially, you could see the distance from the fist to the face.
Yeah, but I'm not watching it for that. Yeah, I mean,
I do think we should.
And here's something though. One thing, I mean, is there any? You were a boxer at one point in your life, right, Zach? So, is there any movie that you have watched that's not like a boxing documentary that actually like stages a boxing match well or accurately?
The last Rocky and Creed 1 and Creed 2.
They're accurate. I haven't seen Creed. The thing is,
no movie is ever accurate with the amount of punches a boxer takes.
Right.
Let's just put it there. Because civilians do not understand what a punch actually does to somebody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you grow up watching, like, you know, and you're coming out of it in the 80s. Like, this is when you had, like, Chuck Norris movies, and you're coming out of, like, you know, in the 60s, you have John Wayne just punching people through walls,
Right.
you know, and he's just like a fat cowboy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, people's idea of what happens in a fight in reality is very different than what happens in real life. So, I mean, as far as fight choreography goes, you're trying to tell the story.
Right.
And I think they do that in this movie, but I think that the Rocky movies in general are better choreographed as far as boxing goes. I think that Ali, the movie Ali, is very fair.
That's a good example.
To boxing. But I think I know the last Rocky with Antonio Tarver in the Mason Dixon part, I think is probably my best boxing scene of all time.
Really?
Yeah, they actually were making a lot of contact in that. Not like turning it over and not really putting their hips into it, but the gloves were hitting skin. A lot of what you hear is actual Foley from the practice rounds or from the actual taping itself. There's like a whole featurette. You can check it out. But it's, and like actually Tarver clipped Rocky or clipped Stallone pretty famously in rehearsals and knocked him out.
Oh,
So
really?
it's one of those things that, like, yeah, I mean, and then what's his name? I also believe Michael B. Jordan got
he got rattled. He got knocked out.
He got rocked in the middle of filming Creed as well. So I mean, when you look at you're looking at 2006 versus 1980. Okay, so in that respect,
Yeah.
This movie is a dramatization. It's Martin Scorsese. It's big. It's bloody. You're looking at it, and it's filmed in black and white.
Yeah.
It's not a black and white era movie. You know what I mean? Like this.
Well, it's
but I
funny
think it
because
helps.
I think people think this movie is older than Rocky,
Yeah.
but it's 4
I
years
used
younger
to
than
when I was a
Rocky.
kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
And it's actually, when you think about it, to make like sort of a serious boxing movie 4 years after a movie won Best Picture for being a boxing movie, when you're at like De Niro and Scorsese's level, it's kind of a bold move. You're kind of like going into someone else's territory at that point. I mean,
Well, I think they figured out that. What's his name? They saw the success that Rocky had, right? With an unknown actor doing the Italian thing
Right.
in a very semi-Scorsese way. I mean, Rocky, I mean, it's obviously directed not like Scorsese, but
Yeah.
it's like, it has like that grittiness. The
The
original
street,
Rocky,
yeah.
of course. You know, it's filmed on the streets. Like, a lot of the shots from Rocky remind me of Mean Streets. Like
Yeah.
the opening from Mean Streets and shit like that. So, like, you see, if I'm Martin Scorsese and Robert De Niro, I'm like, this fucking Mama Luke just took our idea. Or he, like, took our what do you call it? Like, our aesthetic.
Sure.
And he's
Yeah.
cashing in on it. What the fuck are we doing? Let's find a real guy. There's got to be a real boxer. They're like probably like Marciano, and then, you know, everyone realized who's going to buy fucking 150-pound De Niro as Marciano. Oh, Jake LaMotta. And Jake LaMotta just happens to have this insane story of a life.
That's the thing.
Like-
it's crazy.
And I
The
gotta
story-
say, man. Oh, well, go ahead, Peter.
I was
I'm
gonna say
sorry.
the
Go
story
ahead.
I heard is that De Niro
yeah.
read the book, and Scorsese was like, I believe, was hospitalized because he was so coked out at this point in his life that De Niro basically went and did an intervention and said, listen, you got to get back to work, you got to get your life back on track. Why don't we do this movie about this guy? And I mean, neither one of them was really interested in the boxing aspect. They were interested in like the relationship and this guy who's like basically can't help but destroy everything that he gets in his way, which is
So that's the real story? Because
Yeah.
I was just making shit up.
no, that's
I was spitballing. I was.
They had done.
You were
they had done-
nailing it, I think.
They had done Taxi Driver a couple years before. Scorsese had like a couple successes under his belt. De Niro had already won an Oscar.
Right. Yeah.
And from what I hear, the story I heard is that Scorsese had a really bad coke problem, was literally hospitalized, and was maybe
Damn,
thought
how much coke you got to do to?
I was
end
going
up
to
in
say,
a
I guess that
hospital?
means I don't
he's
have a
also he's
problem.
tiny.
Yeah, right?
He's a very short guy.
Hospitalized. They were doing so much coke in the 80s. Like it's unbelievable. They had to know it wasn't good for you. Just,
Well, here's my thing. That's
Wait,
what makes me like curious about how people die from like doing a gram at a club now. I'm always like,
Right.
man, you weren't doing coke, buddy.
right.
So,
You were doing something might have been laced in the coke.
well,
That
no,
makes
that's what it
sense.
is. It's just like yeah.
Scorsese's he's a fidgety guy. He's
Travel.
only like 5'2". It gets to the
Yeah, he's
brain
a
real
little
fast
squeak,
when you're
little
that short.
tiny-
He's got those big fucking rims. I love that aesthetic. The old Italian guy, black rim glasses. That
Oh
they
my
use
God,
in this
yeah,
movie
of
for
course.
all the gangsters,
Right.
except for like the young
like
guys.
a cravat.
Well, no, that's an old school shirt. It was an Italian shirt that they brought over. You
Yeah.
should know about this. You know what?
Right.
You know. I mean, a lot of people call it the Guido collar. It's
I
featured in all the major
With the collar
super
like this.
close collars. Yeah.
Yeah, I
I've
fucking
always
hate.
wanted to have one.
You would.
Yeah, you could put
I would
that.
I've
look
been-
great in one. Go fuck
Yeah.
yourself.
I've been
Ross.
running away from that shit my whole life.
I know.
I was a skater to get fucking away from everything. I brought
like-
a skateboard to my dad's village in Sicily. Everyone's like, "What the hell is this?"
You're like AJ. You're like AJ
Yeah,
Soprano.
I was the AJ. That's hilarious.
You're fucking AJ Soprano.
I was
Oh my
walking. I was
God.
wearing like size 40 jeans, like baggy jeans.
Jinko jeans.
Size
Oh,
40.
no. Backwards?
Jeez.
Were they backwards? Like
No, I went through that phase already. But this what did I want to say? Oh, my introduction to boxing was Rocky. I never saw a boxing match until after I saw Rocky.
Oh wow. Okay.
So I thought boxing was like 15 rounds of guys throwing haymakers.
Oh yeah, we thought. Well, I think we talked about this
We
on the
did.
Rocky
We
podcast.
did.
And
too.
I
Yeah,
literally,
yeah, this is
I
great.
turned on a fight, and it was like the 13th round, and the guys could barely get their arms up. I'm like, what the shit is this?
Yeah,
It's Stallone
yeah,
in there. What the fuck is going on?
Stallone could do it. Stallone's also on like Mexican supplements, but who's saying that?
Yeah, I know,
But he's the patron saint of this podcast, so I won't say nothing. You know.
I
Yeah,
get
he's
I don't
seriously.
think this movie's not about. Like they didn't care about the
No.
boxing. I like that the boxing is stylized. I think that shit is really cool how they did.
But it's what you're saying. The movie is not about boxing.
No.
This is a movie about a man, a self-destructive man, that really has it all. He has the world by the balls for 90% of this movie,
Yeah.
and he just can't fucking get it together. And I gotta
it's
say,
frustrating.
like, I mean, you guys are, your guys are Italian. Like, I've seen it in my family, like that constant worry that he has, like that crazy Italian paranoia that we all have. Like, I know you guys have it because I have it. Like, fucking, like, it hasn't destroyed
Dude.
me yet, but I mean, like,
I
know-
get it in some sense, but he is. I don't have it as bad as some people, and
No, that's
Jake
like an
had
old-
it the
that's an
worst
old
of all
world.
time.
I have
Yeah.
relatives.
I said Jake had it the
Yeah.
worst of all time.
I have
He's like-
relatives that don't speak for 15 years over a misunderstanding. Like
right.
But that's exactly like you can't reason with them.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not talking to my cousin right now.
Yeah, no, it's the same. Like
It's like,
my grandfather just talked to his sister for the first time in 30 years, and it's because both of their like husband and wife are dead, and there was fight originated with with the spouse. So now they're like, I love you, I miss you. I was like, you told me she was a putana my entire life.
That's classic.
oh, Madonna care
But yeah, you can't.
Yeah.
And the thing is that you can't. To me, the most upsetting thing is when you know something is one way and the other person is convinced that it's exactly the opposite way.
I don't
and you
know. I gotta
can't
be honest.
convince them.
I've totally been on both sides of that coin.
Yeah,
Full disclosure.
but I've done it
been
on
the one
purpose.
Where I'm like, no, fuck you, and I know I'm wrong. Like and I've like really tried to not be that guy anymore. Like I mean, when I was like 18 though, I was that fucking guy. I was like, fuck you. I know what I'm talking about. You're full of shit. I know what, but I knew I was wrong. Like I knew it.
Yeah.
100%. But I just to like give an inch meant like I was less of a man.
Absolutely,
I was gonna ask
absolutely. You
you-
can't give in. You can't.
I was
give in.
gonna
give
ask
an
you,
inch.
what is that?
Yeah. There's a guy. Okay, I'm gonna tell you right now. There's a guy out there that was possibly, like, without a doubt, one of my all-time best friends in life. Okay, and I went to college. He went to college at a college near me, and we stayed in the same houses, and we did a lot of fun stuff together, and like we fucking hung out a lot. And then one day, just shit hit the fan. We were both being shitty to each other, but like someone stepped over a line. And to this day, we don't speak. Like, and it's not like there was a fight, there wasn't a big blow up. We just don't speak. Like, we stopped acknowledging each other's existence. And like, people will bring, like, people are still in contact with us, and they'll bring us up in front of each other.
Yeah.
And we'll just be like, who? But he's like an old Greek guy, or not an old Greek guy, but he's like I look old. He's an old school Greek guy. He's like how I am, you know what I mean? And it's like, so he has that same mentality where like whoever says sorry first is the pussy.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I know that's what it is because I know like even me talking about him right now, I kind of want to like fucking throw the phone across the wall.
Shit.
I'm so much calmer
I was gonna ask
now.
what happened. Jesus,
Yeah.
but I don't. You don't have to get.
I don't want to
personal.
disclose
That's
too
fine.
much on a
Yeah.
podcast. I don't know what
fine.
the statute of limitations are, but
I was a hothead as like a 6-year-old. Like two of my earliest memories
I was too. Yeah.
Two of my earliest memories is I wanted a radio-controlled car, and they got one where the remote was connected by a cable to the car.
And you lost your mind?
I think I ruined Christmas. That's it. Christmas is over. That's it. I was like, everybody out of the house. I was like 6.
Actually, Peter, that's funny you say that. I was totally that kid. Like my grandmother, so my Irish grandmother on my father's side, she used to call me Dynamite because you never knew when I was going to explode.
That makes sense.
She would just call me Dynamite. And then when I'd get started, she'd go, "Oh, here comes Dynamite," and I'd be like fucking
Amazing.
flipping shit and like, yeah. I mean, I remember I was like, my brother tells the story. I don't even remember it. I was so young. He said like he beat me in Mortal Kombat or something on Sega, and I went downstairs and grabbed a butter knife.
Oh Jesus
Oh
Christ!
my god.
Like, yeah,
That's
we like. I
scary.
mean, I was like probably.
I'm
2,
saying, as a
kicked me in the
parent,
shed.
you see your kid doing that, you're like, oh fuck.
Yeah. Like, where did he learn that? But
Yeah.
it wasn't even like a butter knife. It was like a fucking like pastry spatula or some shit
Sure.
like that. It was like, but in my head, it was a knife. Like, I mean, I grew up. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and say I grew up in like a violent family because I didn't. But we were explosive. We all were explosive.
Yeah.
Even like now, like little things. People hear me and my mom talking, and they'll be like, "Oh my god, like you're screaming at your mother." I'm like, "No, I'm not."
That's fucking
This is how we've
wasp.
been-
That's waspy people, though.
Yeah,
They hear people like us talk, and we love the people we're talking to, and they're like, "Why are you guys like arguing?" You know, like even if
Yeah.
me and Zach are talking on the street, people could think that there's something wrong. You know, It's-
People have totally thought that me and Peter are arguing. Like we've been asked. Like,
In my family too, we always got my brother-in-law, my sister's husband, is the sweetest, nicest guy. He sits there and he quietly eats his dinner, and I'm looking at him like, what the fuck is this guy doing? Like, he doesn't
What's this
speak.
guy staring at? You
The
know?
whole dinner, he's just sitting there quietly eating. He's not yelling at anybody.
is he Madagascar? What's his deal?
He's like Czech and Irish.
Yeah.
My one nephew looks like a little Irish boy. He's so cute. And the other one looks like, it's funny because the one who's got the bad attitude, who like sits there and like fumes when he's mad, it looks like a Sicilian.
Of
Oh,
course.
that's great.
So like the
course.
nice kid looks like he's
I thought
Irish.
you were about to
He's got
say it
the
was
eye.
the opposite.
He's
He
got
just
the
sits there,
eye,
he goes-
you know?
He's like,
Yeah.
he just sits there. He's like 4 years old. He's 4. He's like,
He's
He's
4 years
already-
old, giving everyone the Maloke.
He's already fuming. He's fed up.
he is. I'm looking at him like, what's going on?
But I love that is one thing I will say. I love this movie for, and I think Scorsese does a good job of creating the he creates the Italian American family or Italian American interactions very well.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, from the,
last
very
movie,
first, from
like
the
the
very
last
first
movie
scene
we-
with the,
oh, sorry,
with
go
the
ahead,
steak.
sorry.
I'm saying with the steak.
yeah.
It
Oh my
starts,
God.
This movie starts with a bang. That's like it's unbelievable how this
That
movie
might
starts.
be the best 20 minutes in all of cinema. Is the
That's what I'm
first 20
saying. Like,
minutes
this
of
movie
this movie.
starts on fire. Those first couple of scenes are unbelievable.
And you know, I think the reason that Scorsese's movies do deteriorate the way they do, it's because the story deteriorates. You're literally watching someone at their height, someone at their freshest, and then and the weird thing about this movie that he doesn't usually do, but he did in The Irishman, is you kind of get a glimpse into what you're gonna get.
Yeah. What
Yeah,
it
starting with the
becomes.
sort of flashback,
1964, he's sitting there, he can't remember his fucking lines, and it's like, and I'm saying like as an actor, like I'm sitting there, like I had an acting teacher in school tell me, all right, I want you to read this, but I want you to read this acting terribly. Like I want you to be a bad actor. and I really didn't understand what she wanted me to do. And she was like, go home and watch Raging Bull. And I saw and just watched the first minute and a half. And I watched that scene, and I was like, oh, it's that thing. Like, it's not that you're reading, and it's not that you're fucking up. It's that you're reading in your head.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you're not emoting. You're just so worried about every little word.
Delivering the lines.
Instead of worrying about the feeling and telling the story. And, like, that was something that made it – I mean, like, that's another weird connection I have to this movie. But like I was saying, like, the Italian-American family with the steak thing is amazing. Like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, there's, like, times where, like, maybe not to that level, but I've heard that argument before. Like 100%. I've heard an argument like that. Like, I'm at my cousin's house, and him and his wife are arguing about something, and it's not that big of a deal, but it turns into World War III. All of a sudden, the door gets slammed. My cousin looks at me, he's like, you believe this shit? And I'm just like, hey, you know, what are you gonna fucking do? Yeah. Like, you know, like, and I've been
I've been Joey a lot in my life, I gotta say.
Yeah. I realized that a lot, but I've also been Jake. Although I've totally been Joey when he fucking smashes the glass over fucking Salvi's head. Like, I've been the guy who saw someone doing something fucked up behind someone else's back, though, too. Like, it's like the whole, I don't know, this whole movie captures, like, just a vibe of, like, that whole relationship between Joey and Jake is, one, so toxic.
Oh, my God.
But there's so much, like, it's like the saddest thing in the world when they see each other, like, 20 years later.
Yeah.
And it's like, and he won't even look at him. He's like, come on, kiss me. Kiss me. And he doesn't even look like himself anymore. Like, Pesci, like, part of what I think Pesci doesn't want to look at. No, well, yeah. He doesn't look like Jake anymore.
But he's talking
part of what
Jake.
I think.
Oh, yeah.
Part of what I think Joey doesn't want to look at is see how far his brother's fallen, because his brother was his Superman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you really know, and it comes across the whole movie.
Absolutely.
And then, like, he looks like fucking Frankenstein at the end. Like, it's which De Niro also played Frankenstein. Happy Halloween. But yeah. I mean,
it's crazy. Well, De Niro did. This is one of the. Is this the first like transformation type of roles, like where you have to gain a ton of weight in the middle of the movie?
I mean, people definitely cite the fact that he put on 60 pounds as one of the reasons he won the Oscar.
Yeah.
Like, and you didn't at that time. I think it might have been at the
people
time.
Didn't really.
People weren't doing that. Yeah, that wasn't.
Yeah, they would get in shape for roles, but no one was like getting fat for roles. No one, like, this is like, a lot of people equate, this came up in a conversation recently because someone brought up Dallas Buyers Club.
Yep.
And they were like, oh, well, that transformation is nuts, which completely was.
Yeah.
But then I was like, yeah, but Raging Bull.
Right.
But it's totally easier to get fat.
Christian Bale's done it like 6 times.
He's
done it both ways.
Christian Bale's a psycho.
He's a fucking psychopath.
I love him.
Like,
I love him. He's my kind of psycho.
Amazing. He's amazing.
He's my kind of psycho. He's exactly the kind of psycho that I like.
Yeah.
No one's mad there. No. I like chin down to Wales and to Christian Bale.
It's funny because, like, you know, I was actually thinking today about like when people say codependent. Like, what relationship is not codependent? Like, Italian families, of course, they're codependent. Every time I talk to my mom, she makes me feel bad about something that I forgot about. Like, that's exactly.
Try living with them, brother.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've been spending more time with them during the pandemic too. But the brother relationship in this movie is incredible. And
it's
like,
not codependent on Joey's behalf, though. At least in the middle, towards the end of the movie, like, Joey realizes that he's a fucking psychopath almost from the jump. You know, like,
but it's where the loyalty starts. Mm-hmm. And where his logic ends. That's where you find
he realizes
Joey's relationship. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. But Joey's righteous in pretty much every action he does in the whole movie. There's not one where he's wrong.
Well, let me ask. So
am I wrong?
Not telling him about Vicky. Not telling him about Vicky.
Oh, but he would have fucking killed her. You can't. He's a psycho.
Wait,
dude.
so is that like
he already lost his mind by that point? Dude.
We haven't even talked about Vicky yet, and it's funny. I just want to real quickly.
Yeah, you're probably right, Alex. I probably sound like a real dirtbag.
No, you don't. You should. We should have the argument because that's why this is a good movie.
The Jake LaMotta character is interesting to me because he's an asshole who's charming. So when he meets, he gets Vicky because of how charming he is. But you know he's gonna become an asshole. You know what I mean?
He's gonna be yelling at her about the steak neck.
He tries so hard. He does all this work in order to get her.
Right.
In order only to be an ass. You know what I mean? It's like
once he gets her,
he buys the car.
Mm-hmm.
Or just the talking to her, the being quiet, and the bringing her to the apartment and all that stuff.
But he
I
has
don't know.
her. The moment oh, go ahead, Peter.
I was gonna say I don't know how much of it is true. Like, did I miss something? Is it all in his head, or did she really sleep around with everybody?
It's in his head.
Well,
it's in his head, dude.
I think that a majority of it is in his head, but also we are looking at she's 15 when she meets him.
Right. That's huge.
Granted, this is a totally different time.
15 though.
But I know who I was at 15. And if I didn't get to do all the crazy shit I did from 15 to now because I was married to that fucking psycho,
right?
I'd sleep around. Like, I wouldn't fault her for doing that. I think that he was over. I think it's that Italian paranoia that we all have. I think it's like, and he had, like I said, he has it. It is so jacked up on him.
It's crazy.
Like, I needed to smoke a joint in the middle of this movie for him. Like, I was like, dude, Jesus
calm the
Christ.
fuck down. Can I say real quick, though, I think the story's real, and I think he was – it's not even – I mean, it's obviously it's a movie. It's dramatized. It's exaggerated. But it's not – I mean, Jake LaMotta was known in the neighborhood as this psychopathic, jealous boyfriend type. Like, these are for real stories. Like, this really happened. Maybe not exactly as it's told, but – my grandpa, all my family is from Pelham Bay, Pelham Bay Park, from.
Yeah, that's right. You're a Bronx boy. I forgot about that.
I'm a Bronx boy. I'm Italian. My whole family is from this area, and my grandpa on my dad's side, knew who Jake LaMotta was. He was the guy in the neighborhood that fought. So this wasn't They all knew he was bad news. He was fucking beating his women. That was absolutely happening, and I mean. Maybe the movie's a little bit slanted, of course, but I don't think the movie's trying to tell you that she was actually doing. I think the movie's trying to tell you, look at this man eat himself from the inside, he's completely falling apart because of his own mind. It has nothing to do.
And the thing is you also have to realize he's falling apart because of his own mind, but also because of just deterioration of the brain after getting punched. Right. I gotta say, this is probably the best depiction of a boxer in his post-career. I've met a lot of these guys post-career, especially in after when I was fighting Golden Gloves and I was a little bit more involved in the scene. When I met Paul Spadafora for the first time, who was the lightweight champion when I was a kid. He was from Pittsburgh. He was Italian. That was the guy. I remember seeing him on ESPN all the fucking time. You know what I mean?
Wow. Yeah.
But he had some unfortunate shit happen to him, and he made some bad decisions, and it was crazy. The first fight of my Golden Gloves, when I knocked the guy out in 20 seconds,
that's awesome.
He was there. He was in the crowd. So I had my moment, where I was like, "Holy shit, Paul's here." And I went over to him, and his son, his 6-year-old son, was fighting on the same card because it's Pittsburgh and there's no laws. But I went over.
Boxing, the most corrupt fucking sport of all time.
Right. I mean, you have Pee Wee boxing still. It's and that's something I think they really need to figure out because I don't know, 6-year-olds fighting. I don't know. I mean, granted, how hard are they hitting? So
True.
It's another thing too. How well can you train a 6-year-old? If I could beat the 6-year-old up, he could fight. I got to beat Paul, and I went over, and he went over to me, and he was like, that's one of the best knockouts I've ever seen, yada yada. But you could tell, something kind of
He's punched out, a little punchy.
I wouldn't say. Yeah, I mean, I think there's more to it for him because he was a little bit more substance abusey. But
sure.
But you see that with Lamotta, he becomes a fat drunk,
dude.
And he's like this, and the thing is the whole movie, you can tell how so insecure he is.
It's
because
crazy.
He's such a good looking guy, even with the fucking monster nose. He's such a good looking guy. He's in shape the whole time. And then she says that little thing about Gennaro.
Oh yeah,
what do you mean he's fucking pretty?
Yeah, he
Lisa,
can't
get the
get
fuck
over
in there. Take the babies. Get in there. And then Pesci. But here's the thing. This is like where you really see the nitty gritty of that relationship between Pesci and De Niro in that movie, because you see his wife Lenore speaks up, and he goes, "Who's talking to you?" And it's not De Niro that says it.
Right.
It's Pesci. Pesci's looking at De Niro. De Niro looks at Pesci like, "You gonna take care of this?" And he does. And he's like, "Fuck." And then that night, Pesci takes out some fucking Gumar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're out with some girl. You could tell though by his wife's reaction, Pesci's, that he doesn't normally do that. But he was doing it for his brother. He was doing it for his brother. Like, that's what you're saying, right? I don't know.
Like, he's not that guy, and he was trying that glove
guy.
on, and it did not fit.
Right.
My favorite Hollywood story is how Pesci got in. You guys know the story of how Pesci got in this movie?
He was a manager, right? Tell the story, because it's a great story for the podcast.
So Pesci had been like
a
child dancer and singer. Frank Vincent and Pesci had a
another
duo.
amazing name that's in this movie
Yes,
that is
Salvi.
very unsung.
Yeah, he's great,
I mean,
amazing.
He kind of does the same thing he does in every movie, but
he's great in
so
it.
fucking good at that.
Yeah, I mean, some guy, like, it's not easy to, like, be that guy who just turns the screw. You know what I mean? Like, you got to really believe that he's that guy.
No, he's got a face for it, you know?
Yeah, so Pesci had been around, had done a movie called, I think it was called The Death Collector, like, in the 70s. Like, a real low-budget gangster movie. Goes nowhere. He retires from acting, goes to the Bronx, and he's managing a restaurant in the Bronx. De Niro sees that movie and says, "We got to get Pesci for." So in Jake LaMotta's real life, that's not actually his brother. His brother and his manager were two different characters.
Right.
So there was multiple characters that they kind of combined and turned into the Joey character. Mm-hmm. And so De Niro and Scorsese went to the Bronx, to the restaurant, and said, "Hey, we want to do a movie. We want you to be in the movie." And Pesci's like, "No, I'm good." And he goes,
and this is for Raging Bull, right?
This is specifically for Raging Bull. And Pesci goes, "You know what? I did the acting thing. I'm not interested." They had to beg Joe Pesci to fucking be in Raging Bull. And he does it. And dude, like, you're watching basically an amateur performance in this movie, and he's unfucking believable.
It's not amateur.
Oscar worthy. And the crazy thing is,
he really should have won an Oscar for this movie.
Pesci is one of the most interesting guys in Hollywood ever.
Yeah.
Because this is a guy that discovered the Four Seasons. This is a guy. Did you guys know that?
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
what?
Joe Pesci got the Four Seasons together. It was like the Three Lovers or some jack shit.
Yeah, he introduced them. Yeah.
What's his name? It was Frankie Valli.
Right.
It was like Tommy DeVito.
And then this other mook from the fucking neighborhood. And, like, these kids were all like Italian projects. I think near, where were they? North Bergen or Elizabeth or some shit.
Well, so when I was a kid, it's
Newark,
funny 'cause
were they Newark?
Newark area, Belleville, Elizabeth.
Belleville.
One of them.
Belleville. Yeah,
so when I was a kid, my mom used to tell me a story that she's like, Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons, they used to rehearse in our neighborhood, and the girls would go listen by the basement window and hear them rehearse.
Because they were rehearsing under the streetlights.
Yeah, so one of the guys lived in Elizabeth, and then Pesci was from Newark, and these other guys were from Newark. And they started, because back then you would have...
It was a bowling alley scam. Did you know about this?
Oh, that I don't know.
Please tell this story, please.
Oh my God! So, okay, allegedly, how much truth is in it? This is a story I've heard from generations to generations. Yada yada, gabagool. Okay, so fucking apparently Tommy DeVito Tommy DeVito is the real guy from Goodfellas, but it's the
that's where the name comes from.
Oh,
yeah, because the real guy.
Because his real name is Tommy DeSimone. Right. Okay. So Tommy DeVito from the Four Seasons, he was originally like, before they met the guy that ended up really bringing them together musically. Like, there was a guy that like did like a piano and like wrote a bunch of songs. He toured with Sam Cooke. He fucking like did a lot. And then when he heard Frankie, it's like go watch Jersey Boys. But
you're right.
How they met was Pesci and DeVito. Pesci was working at some fucking bowling alley, and DeVito was found a way to scam the bowling alley by like stealing the pins or some shit and selling it back to them. It was some shit like that.
Such a fucking greaseball move.
Oh God, it's amazing though. It's such as an ex-scammer, like I'm fucking in. Like,
Well,
I'm
so
I gotta say, but I keep cutting you off. We keep cutting you off, but I love con artists. Like I am a massive fan. Like I look up to con artists.
How do you guys think I got on the podcast 3 times? No,
my first job was I was
right.
a carny at the shore.
Right.
that's right. Were you the guess the weight guy? What did you do?
No, you pop the balloon and win a stuffed animal.
You can't pop the fucking balloon, right?
No, you can pop it, but like
there's cement in the balloon. You can't.
No. That's actually one of my tricks was because there'd be a wall of balloons, and I'd be standing here. Here's the counter, and I'm talking to the people, and the balloons are behind me, and they go, "Oh yeah, kid, sure, you can't even pop those balloons." And I go, "Yeah," and I took a dart and I threw it over my shoulder, and I pop a balloon. Next thing you know, they spent $50-$75 to get a fucking stuffed animal. The game was like, it was a progressive game. So like you thought a small was like a stuffed animal like this, but a small was like a stuffed animal like this.
Oh, okay.
So once you're in for $10, I'm like, what are you gonna? I'm like, buddy, you're gonna leave with your girlfriend with a parakeet this big? Come on, you gotta. And then I would get him to come in, but the guy who trained me was like an honest to goodness carny who like ran away from home to join the carnival. I've always loved con artists. I always like appreciate hustlers.
Fucking love con. That's
Even when I've been hustled, I'm always like,
I gotta respect it.
I got hit with 3-card Monty on the pre-COVID. I got hit or not 3-card Monty. I did Lamotta. You know what? The ball. It's like 3-card Monty, but with a ball.
One of the cups.
On the cup. Yeah.
I was fucking hammered. I had gotten my susu from work. I had like $700 in my pocket. I went home with $200.
Oh no!
I was wasted on fucking sake, and I was like, I can beat this guy. I know I can. Can't beat him.
No, you can't beat him.
But anyway, sorry.
Well, I want to hear the rest. I want to hear the rest of the story.
I got pretty close to just trying to fuck him up because he was blind. But then, like, I realized
you got hustled by a blind guy.
Well, I mean, he acted like he was blind. I was gonna take his eyes out. I was gonna make sure he was blind. I don't know. No.
And so it's funny because you thought I meant by story that you meant that story, but I meant the Joe Pesci bowling alley story.
That's it. Like they were staying in a bowling alley, and that's how they met Pesci. And like Pesci was like kind of a half a gangster. Like Pesci, he's like half, like he got shit off the truck, like that kind of shit.
Yeah, I remember I watched way before I knew this story. I watched this movie, The Death Collector, with my uncle. And I was like, holy shit, that's Joe Pesci. And then he's like, yeah, I used to know him. I was like, oh my God, you know Joe Pesci? He goes, yeah, he used to sleep in the basement under a bar in North Broad Street. Now he doesn't remember anybody's phone number no more, that piece of shit. I was like, oh.
That is classic neighborhood Italian guy.
Oh,
that piece of shit.
Joe Pesci's a piece of shit.
So many pieces of shit I heard about growing up.
Jerk.
Everyone growing up was a piece of shit.
He's a scumbag.
Yeah.
You ever see the video of John Gotti? He's getting visited by his young grandson in jail.
And he wants to be a baseball player?
Yeah, and he's like, baseball players are scumbags.
Well, no, he says something else, but
Oh, okay.
There's a little bit more to it, but no, you're right. No, that's like they tried to totally off topic. Did you guys see that movie?
The Gotti movie?
No. I heard it was awful though.
It's so bad.
I gotta watch it because it was that bad
during quarantine. I was like, all right, I gotta bite the bullet on this. It is so terrible. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, there's a Pitbull song in the middle of the fucking 4th of July parade in Howard Beach. And I'm just like,
song in God, it just doesn't. I don't know.
No, and then like fucking the kid from fucking I think it's Lip Nicky. The kid from fucking Stuart Little plays John Gotti Jr.
Oh no!
It looks like him. I mean, he's jacked now, but it looks like him. I'm pretty sure that's who.
Travolta
he's the
is
worst.
Amazing, but when he's bad,
he's terrible.
No, but he's had some incredible performances. But when he's going to be bad, like from the trailer, you can tell it's going to be bad.
I gotta say, I don't think this is 100% Travolta's part. Well, it's definitely his fart. No, I don't think it's his problem. I think it was a lot of directorial problems, and I think it was the writing on that one. That one, I think, for sure. Yeah.
Have you seen, just another crazy tangent, but speaking of Travolta's bomb movies, the movie with Fred Durst?
The Alien one?
No, that's bad. That's the Starship. What is that?
Starship Earth or whatever the fuck.
Battlestar Galactica.
It's like the Scientology guy.
That is
like,
so bad. That's
Battlestar Galactica is a cult fucking
The
science
TV show,
fiction
yeah.
show.
Wait, then
Yeah,
what
no.
is the movie that we're?
Battleship Earth or some shit
Yeah,
like
Yeah,
that.
that's what it is. Battleship Earth. That's
It's
right. That's
that-
right.
So bad.
horrible. But I'm talking about the other Bond. It's more recent.
Yeah, doesn't he play like a disturbed like fan or something?
Yeah,
Like,
the Fanatic. It's called the Fanatic. You have to look this
What's
up.
this on?
It's so bad. It's a movie.
What's it streaming on? What's it
I
streaming
don't
on?
know.
Amazon?
I'll look it up. I'll look it up right now. I don't know. But
Thanks.
I saw it. Hold on.
Thanks, young Jamie.
Yeah. I should only be
Do you have COVID as well?
Yeah.
You hear about that? Never mind. That's so off topic.
No. You got to watch it. You had Alex Jones on. Joe Rogan.
Oh, I
Shout
watched
out.
it already.
It's
Fantastic.
so good. Isn't that amazing?
Dude, he fact checks him the whole time too. People are complaining. I'm like, he wasn't wrong about a lot
Just
of shit.
shut
Like,
up and watch the Alex Jones is the most entertaining man on the planet. So anyone
yeah,
that
it doesn't even
enjoy
matter
that,
if what he's saying is wrong. It's just
it
fucking
doesn't.
hysterical.
Just listen. It's amazing. Anyway,
I love how he called back. I'm kind of retarded.
I mean, he had like 25 of those.
Well,
he kept going like,
he's,
"Oh, be nice
he's
to
go-
me."
He's
I love the
going, and then all of a sudden he just hits speed. He's like, "Oh well, the globalists are talking about Black Hawk helicopters and Satanists and blah blah Bohemian Grove," and Joe's like, "Whoa, Alex." He's like, "You gotta smoke weed, Joe Rogan. You have me on when I smoke weed."
I love when he starts going into the human pig hybrids and he gets like crazy.
Oh, God,
I
yeah,
love
yeah.
that shit. Yeah, I mean, dude,
Satanists are making human pig hybrids with the lizard people in China.
yeah. It's like, how do you not enjoy this? It's amazing.
He's very entertaining.
And Tim Dillon there was great. I mean, it was just, he was
was
like a kid in the candy
shop.
store.
He said it right off the bat, but he was the whole time.
He really
just
was.
Seasoned.
He was looking with a twinkle in his eye. He was so happy. It was so fun to
Well,
watch that.
My favorite was when him and Alex Jones started teaming up on Joe about the craziest shit.
Yeah, like they were completing each other's sentences, like and acting like Joe's insane for not knowing like these like underground fucking like sex cult theories. Just
You don't know about
shit.
this?
Yeah. Like how Republicans fuck each other in the ass like since the 1800s. You're like, I don't know.
Ronald Reagan
man.
fucked Howard Taft apparently.
Apparently. Oh man. Anyway,
Raging Bull.
Yeah, that's another podcast that you should listen to. But the Fanatic is I don't know where you could find it. It's all over. It's known for being a bad movie. It came out in 2019. John Travolta. He plays like an autistic fan. But he plays he basically goes full retard. He's playing a retarded guy, but he goes like he's like too retarded. He's like way too retarded. You have to see. Wait, can we do a share screen and watch? It's so bad.
I'm okay. I'm
like Simple Jack, but a real movie. Like,
oh my god.
I'll find a clip, but we could get back to it because I want to get the right one.
Okay, so this is a side thing. Have you guys ever seen the one where Robin Williams plays a special dude?
Robin Williams,
and he's like best friends with this kid whose mom's like a fucking like deadbeat, and this kid grows up in New York, and then he comes back and he finds his best friend, and he's still like this old, slow dude like riding around on a fucking bike.
I don't remember
And he's
that.
like, back in my day, they used to call me retarded. Like, it's like, but it's Robin Williams. And he's like, and he's like an old age makeup. It's so it's weird. It's weird. It's not a bad performance, but it's
You
weird.
know who's the best? Like, Leonardo DiCaprio playing a retarded kid was
great.
incredible.
Well, that's a kid
Like,
can get away. That's the thing.
I think a kid.
But I mean, that's an amazing performance.
No, it is. Yeah, that's what I mean. But if you're a full grown adult man playing, like,
there's too much compensation going on.
It's way too much compensation.
And it's also like
You've
Leo
lived too much life to be able to play that pretty
Like
realistically.
Leo wasn't that
emphatically,
well known at that point, so you're not going, oh, look at Sean Penn trying to win an Oscar.
I also have to say, I don't think Sean Penn was terrible in that movie. I haven't seen that movie since I was like 7, but I mean, like,
This is crazy. All right, I found a guy. I found a clip of the movie where he's just like attacking a guy, but just look at his haircut. All right, hold on. We're gonna do.
Where am I looking? Are we getting another screen?
I'm gonna get a share screen here. Portion of screen. No, we want to go. I want to make sure. How do I? Oh, share computer sound. There we go. All right, let me know.
Technological crazy bastard.
I'm getting there. Okay. Can you? Yeah. Here, let me make this big. You can see my screen?
Yes.
Oh my god, it's the Simple Jack haircut.
It's so
Oh
bad.
my
That is the
God.
actual
Look at this,
simple
dude.
check. You're
Hold
right.
on.
Oh no!
Hold on.
No!
All right, you're
no,
gonna help
no.
me make some fucking cash, bitch.
I wish Freddy Krueger would come and chop off your head, and it would roll in the street, and a truck would squish it, and the blood would splatter everywhere, and everyone would watch it.
That made
No,
me
John
really.
Travolta is
I'm in.
horrible.
I'm in. I'm
That
in.
made me really
I'm
uncomfortable.
fucking in.
Dude, that haircut. I forgot about the haircut. You got to watch this movie.
I'm
That
gonna
made me
cut your
so
head off and it'll
uncomfortable.
roll
Watch the
into
blood
street and it'll
Bro.
Oh,
He's so over the top retarded guy.
well, he's
it's
trying to be specific, and
dude.
I get it. Autistic people are specific, but that's like,
That's
not
not
specific
really
enough.
right.
That made
Exactly.
me very uncomfortable.
So Peter, you were saying he's brilliant. Well,
No, I mean he's a couple
just
of my
made me
favorite
think of it.
performances. Get
Oh, where'd he
Shorty,
go?
Saturday
Oh,
Night
there you
Fever, Blowout.
The Fanatic.
fucking, what's the other one? The follow up to Saturday Night Fever. Was that piece of garbage?
Staying Alive. That was
Staying
terrible.
Alive. Worst
Get
movie.
Shorty's great. Saturday Night Fever's amazing.
Pulp Fiction. He's good in for sure.
Yeah.
Pulp Fiction, I think, is some of his best
Yeah.
work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Because he's very just Travolta. You know what I mean? He's like, yeah, but Marvin, let me ask you something. If you're gonna boom, and then he goes,
Perfect.
Oh shit!
Oh,
I shot
man.
Marvin in the face.
I shot Marvin in the face.
But
Marvin,
see, that's perfect.
I love how he asks Marvin, he asks.
Yeah.
But anyway,
yeah. Anyway, yeah.
we've kind of gotten off a little bit of track.
No, that's
I know
fine.
not-
This is great. This is great.
I know we usually do, especially when I'm here and I'm like, a bottle of wine deep. But drinking out of the jelly jar. I wanted to stay.
Jen,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I want to throw a party. I want to have a dinner, like a sit down. Everybody comes. We eat.
You let me know. I'll come cook for you.
Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I was thinking about my Peter Palooza. This could be half a Palooza. We could do in November.
A Pete
Have it,
Palooza,
like,
not a
in the-
Peter.
A Pete,
A Pete
yeah.
Palooza.
A little
Pete
Pete.
Palooza. You're right.
A Pete Paloo.
Pete Paloo. Inside, everybody kissing and hugging because I'm sick of this bullshit.
Keep scaring everybody, man. Keep scaring them. Keep them scared.
Fuck it.
I don't want them breathing my air.
No, I'm ready to kiss and hug everybody. It's time.
I gotta be honest, man. I've been driving back and forth from New York to PA, and I've been going down to North Philly a lot because that's where my new podcast studio is. By the way, I would love to have you both on very soon.
Yeah.
Promote it. What do you got? What's it called?
So the one that I think you guys would be the one that I would want you guys on. I have two right now. So I have Zachy Hour, which is just kind of my catch-all podcast. We can come on, we can talk about your guys' podcast, what we're all working on, fucking hang out, we drink a little bit, and it's pretty much just that. I mean,
That sounds great. Yeah.
It's an hour for everyone to get the fuck away from whatever the fuck's bothering them. You know what I mean? And I think that there's not enough content. There's so much shit. I mean, you guys, I listen to your guys' podcast. I got to say this. I did that cross country trip. You guys know about this. Your listeners probably don't, but I drove cross country because I went insane during quarantine. And I drove from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, all the way to Nevada and back, pretty much in a month. And the entire time I was listening to Kill You Last.
That's amazing.
Like, you guys were in my regular rotation. You guys got me
Awesome.
through that drive. And I texted and called both of you on that trip too. Alex, you didn't answer, so
I'm sorry about that.
I got a
but
postcard.
I
know
sent
what?
a
Got mail.
postcard though.
You know
I
what?
sent a
Peter
postcard to the Garachi, and I was so worried that it wasn't gonna get delivered because
My mailman knows me.
The Garachi.
He knows me. My mailman knows
I
me.
called him every day because I was like, my grandfather got his, my grandmother got hers, because those are the only other people I sent fucking postcards to.
Wow.
You should, hey,
I got
my
it.
man.
I got it.
But,
No, and I think I told Alex that you texted me
when
like-
Peter told me this made my. I mean, I was
You're
so
like,
happy.
I listened to Rogan and you guys, and when you guys were doing Labyrinth and Alex said something about the piece on David Bowie, I pulled over on the side of the road.
No, you guys are all like, yeah, it's kind of a weird movie, Labyrinth, yada yada. And then Alex is like, yeah, but David Bowie's got a hog. I had to pull the fucking car over. I was laughing. I was halfway between my piss stop and like where I just came from. I was like 3 hours deep in this drive, and then you said that. I almost pissed my pants. Like, I had to pull over. I was laughing so hard. I was hyperventilating. I was like, oh my God. And I just love the dichotomy when you guys have a chick on here.
I love
it.
Yeah.
It's like Pete's trying to be charming Jake LaMotta, shaking her finger through the fence. Hey, nice to meet you. And then you're over here being like, yo,
dude.
David Bowie's fucking cock.
Fucking fat dick,
No
dude.
matter who they're talking about.
Yeah.
Even in Gremlins, somehow a gremlin cock came up. Like, if there's a cock in a movie.
Oh,
in
it's
fact, I'm
coming up.
surprised we didn't talk about the ice water jerk-off set.
That's a weird scene, actually. We should talk about
That's an old school move. That's an old school move.
What is the move?
I don't fucking know. I don't know.
What is he doing? That was a weird scene.
I think it's the cold shower idea. I think that's like, I think that might be something like fighters did way back in the day. So I'm gonna tell you guys a story about when I was fighting. My trainer said when I started fighting for him, he said, "Listen, no women 3 weeks out."
I've heard this about fighters. They think you got to save the cum.
It wasn't even you save your virility because you lose a piece. The old idea is you lose a piece of what makes you a man.
Right.
If you're soft, basically, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like one of those things that like. So my trainer said when I started fighting like very seriously, he said, "All right, no women 3 weeks out from a fight." I was like, "Okay." I fought with that guy for about a year. And I was with this girl very seriously, and I was like, "Hey, man, I gotta be honest. This whole no women thing 3 weeks before a fight starting to cause issues." And he looked at me. He said, "You're still doing that?"
So he literally didn't.
And I was like, "You cocksucker!" I almost choked him. Oh my God, there were so many chicks I never called back.
You were listening to this jerk off. He
no
fucking
one's gonna
said,
wait around for 3 weeks. I was like, we're all like 20 and doing drugs in fucking Pittsburgh. No one's gonna fucking wait around for 3 weeks. I was like, fuck it.
Yeah.
So many hot chicks I had to let go.
You know, I know a lot of people I knew actually subscribed to that whole thing in like in a weird way with like any sort of event. Like,
I never noticed the difference. I got to be honest, because like I mean, like I said,
but let's be honest. There's something to it. You don't want to jerk off and then go right out there.
Well, no, you don't want to jerk off in the fucking
just
dressing
fucking
room.
empty your sack and then fucking boom, lights on.
Well, no, you're not gonna. You know what it is? You know what it is? It keeps you on edge.
Yeah, exactly.
That's really, I think, what the idea is. Because like, if you haven't released.
Yeah, 3 weeks is way too much.
You guys,
but,
I jerk off at least 3 times a week. Like fucking like
at least.
If I don't,
of course, I'm once a day, baby. Yeah, come on.
Quarantine.
Peter looks at me like I'm crazy. I'm like literally once a day.
Peter's a modest man. Peter's modest. He doesn't want to be talking about none of this.
He doesn't like masturbation talk.
He doesn't like when me and you talk dirty. I love it.
I know. I like it too.
It's like I'm ready for him to say like what Robert De Niro says. He goes, "Hey, what are you talking to me? Don't curse
in front of me." And then the next
sentence he says, "Fuck."
Yeah. Amazing.
It's one of the funniest fucking things because it's such a power thing. Anyway, so
we got pretty ladies on the podcast. Why can't we talk nice with the pretty ladies? Fuck.
When I bring a pretty lady on the podcast, I'll talk nice. How's that sound?
Hey, I make you look better. Look at it like that. You know, you come up with a charming one.
Those were two very pretty ladies we had on the podcast, Josie and Jordan.
Oh my God,
Josie and Jordan.
The Josie episode is fantastic. You're just trying to get an invite to fucking Greece the whole time.
Oh, dude, every once in a while I message her. I'm like, I'm on a rowboat right now. I'm
halfway
to the
I saw the post recently. Yeah. Oh my God. Wait, why didn't you have Peter Palooza on an island was one of my favorite posts recently. Because and then someone said I would have taken a rowboat out there, and I was like, are they making a Godfather reference, or what are they trying to say?
Yeah, I don't know. I was like, just be happy you got an invitation.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Exactly. Just be happy you were informed.
No, it's funny because I meant to make this point before about the Italian dynamics. When I had Peter Palooza, my girlfriend cooked most of that food. She made I was there, right? She made a sheet tray of pesto.
Yeah.
And
fantastic.
Before we got to the party, I yelled at her because I thought it was too much food. Yeah. And to this day, she holds against me. But like, just talking about like that hothead, like
I ate
asshole,
that whole
like,
tray.
Yeah, no,
dude,
I get. Go ahead.
To this day, it's the thing that everybody mentions about the party, and she's literally slaving in the kitchen, and I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
It's too much food.
But dude,
And
Peter,
then-
I mean,
but
if
how
you-
about? Oh wait, go ahead, Alex. I'm sorry.
I was gonna
Go
say,
ahead,
if
go
you
ahead.
have an Italian mother, you've said that before. But go ahead.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
too much.
Well,
food. It's always too much food.
No, I mean, well, that's even the thing with the steak, though. I mean, and I have a steak thing after this, but the thing with the steak, where she's throwing the potatoes or the carrots or whatever,
Throwing
she's like,
it at
"Hey,
him,
no, more," and he's like, "Nah, that's all I want. That's all I want. No, more," and then he goes, "All right," and then he flips the table because she says like one last thing. But I remember the last Peter Palooza I came to. I think it might have been the last Peter Palooza. I brought those nice tomahawks.
Oh yeah, amazing.
Oh God, we had such a good time.
Man,
That's
it was
one of
gonna
my-
happen. It was gonna happen. The lockdown was supposed to end May 15th.
Yeah.
Peter Palooza was scheduled for May 17th.
Fucking
May 17th.
Yeah, who were you talking to? De Blasio?
I put a 2-day buffer in. May 15th and May 17th.
I still would have came. Fuck them.
I would have.
I want to do it now.
We
Yeah.
can do it in Jersey. We all got
Yeah,
cars.
we could do it. I'm in Jersey right now.
I'll come pick you up, Alex. You got a car?
I got a car. I don't know. Yeah.
Oh, you got a car?
I got a
Fucking
car.
A. I'm telling you, I don't give a fuck about this shit. I don't care. I mean, I'm over it. Here's the thing. Dude, Costco. Here's
Yeah.
No,
Woo,
I'm
me
going to
too.
tell you right now. I'm over
I'm with
it.
you.
Because here's the thing. I've been in the. Here's the thing. Wash your fucking hands and wear
Wash
a
your
mask.
hands. Wear a
okay?
mask.
I'm
That's
pretty
it.
sure I had it in February. I may
Right.
be immune. Who knows?
Who knows?
But what I'm saying is like fucking like wash your hands. Don't be an asshole. You know, don't be a dirty fuck. You'll probably be fine. You know what I mean? And if you're not, well, then fucking that's on you. Okay.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
But,
Wash
like-
your hands. Wear a mask. Do the right thing in November. Vote.
I got into a fight with some girl on Facebook because I was like, listen, my nonna
Do the
with
right
a fourth
thing.
grade education.
You're in Pennsylvania, right, Zach? Do the right thing.
I mean, I am. I could say that. It doesn't mean I want to.
When they were like,
I'm
listen, the
just
world is coming to an end. There's a pandemic. All right, what can I do? Take vitamin C and wash your hands. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. This is the fucking end of the world? Wash your hands?
That's what I'm saying. But I think that, I mean, it works. I think.
It does.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like okay, like
I mean, I washed
got
my
in a fight with
car a
somebody. I
little
was
bit
like,
more than I used to.
my nonna with a fourth grade education could have figured out how this was gonna go. People were gonna get sick for a while. It was gonna go up, and then it was gonna come down again.
Well, everyone, and then they're saying, "Oh, there's more cases. There's more cases," and I'm just like,
Cases of what?
"Yeah, there's gonna be."
Yeah,
Like,
it's
not
the
everyone
winter.
got it yet.
Yeah, and we're
It's
about
the
to hit the
winter.
flu
It's
season
flu
again.
season.
Right.
Like,
Of
you
course.
guys are just fucking. Like, here's the thing, man. Like, I gotta be honest. If this is what's gonna fucking take me out, I had a good run.
Yeah, and it's not, Zach. It's not going to take you out. You're fucking in your 20s.
I'm pretty healthy. I mean, I'm not, but I
Yeah,
am. Like, I'm
you
healthy
are.
for me. But I mean, like, I'm just saying, like, all I'm saying is like, if it's gonna keep me, like, I have a big problem with it because, like, for a while, it was keeping me from seeing a lot of my family.
Yeah.
But like recently, my grandmother came out to visit,
Oh,
which
wow.
I was kind of like, you know, maybe not you, but like,
No.
it was socially distant.
I'm kidding, by the way. Go ahead.
What do you
Go
mean?
ahead. Oh, just go
Oh.
ahead. Yeah.
Oh, you know, I don't give a.
Yeah.
But no, like it was socially distant. But you know, this is I'm very close to my grandmother, and like for me to not be able to see, like I would see her probably about like once every 2 months, once every 3 months at least. And that's like with the schedule that me and her. She was working up until this. She was working for teaching kids at the JCC, even though she's Italian. It's so funny.
Oh,
The JCC will take anyone now. She's like, "What? You guys smell like Jesus?" And they're like, "Not really our guy." And she's like, you pay good. So like that was it. But she came over and like, you know, I got her a sundae. She like lit up like a fucking Christmas tree from like her favorite sundae place back in PA. Cause she lived here for like when I was in high school, my grandmother she lived with us for a little bit. And when I was in college, but like, you know, it was like one of those things where I was like, so who the fuck am I killing? Like, no one's dying from this shit. You know what I mean? Like this is, she was just in a fucking hospital. Her roommate had COVID.
Wow.
Because the hospital's fucking stupid and put her in a room with a COVID patient.
I mean,
She doesn't
come
have
on.
COVID. She's fine. She's fine. I think she's all good. I mean, thank God. You know, hand to God.
Well,
you know,
the thing is,
count your blessings.
Zach,
but I'm saying, like,
yeah, you're right. I mean, I don't want to put out there that nobody's dying because, of course, people are dying. But it's not. You know, if we were overanalyzing deaths from any sort of mundane life activity, like we'd be horrified about the amount of deaths that happen in car accidents every year. Like, and I'm not comparing the two. I understand that one is a deadly disease that you could spread. I'm just saying, is it really worth the shutdown of the entire world forever. I mean, at some point,
Yeah.
we have to move on. Like,
Well, because and also there has to be a measure of what success is.
Right.
Because if you keep changing the parameters, it's like if the lockdown was to slow down the spread and make sure the
flatten
hospitals
the
are not
curve.
overwhelmed. Okay.
we
and then
flattened it.
They
We
always
did.
come up with a new. You can always come up with a new reason to keep doing what you're doing.
Well, I think
Yep.
we all know what the reason is here. I think that this has become a political tool, which is
Right.
disgusting in my mind on both
Yeah.
sides.
Totally.
I think that national security should never be used as a tool. I think that both sides have used it. I think one side has definitely used it more than another, but and it's just, but it's one of those things that, like,
You're right.
if you look at the facts and you look at, and I'm not sitting here saying like go off of anecdotal data, but I have 3 blood family members that are either in healthcare or firefighters or some shit like that. I'm not going to say what, but mostly healthcare. They told me 100% what everyone's saying isn't true, that if someone dies from a heart attack and they tested positive for COVID and they died, it goes down as a COVID death. They told me that that's 100% true
Oh, wow.
because hospitals
Yeah.
don't have money and
They make
hospitals
money
need
that
the money.
way.
Like, I mean, it's a fucking fact. So,
Mm.
like, when you sit here and you yell at me, 200,000 people died, and I'm not in any way trying to say that people didn't die.
Right.
But stop blaming your grandma's death on COVID when she was like a fucking 700-pound
Yeah.
fucking diabetic
Right.
that never left the fucking house.
And
anyway.
every scientist
just
I talk to
Yeah, go
is
ahead.
not worried. My friends who are doctors, my friend
Sure.
who's a biology teacher.
No one's
like,
fucking worried that has any fucking sense. It's all these fucking sheep watching the fucking news. On both sides. I'm not saying.
Well,
Yeah, you're
and
right.
it's weird because if
No.
you didn't turn on the news and you didn't go on the internet, would you know that anything was wrong? You know what I mean? Like in your regular life, if you're walking around, you're like, it doesn't feel like
Well, the
world is
masks,
coming to an end.
but nobody I know.
I mean, honestly, I don't think the masks are bad. Wear the fucking mask. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, how fucking hard is it? Just wear the
not.
fucking mask.
It's
But
not
I'll
even
tell
that
you right now,
uncomfortable. Yeah.
I went to a strip club the other day. If anyone's gonna get it, it's the guy that goes to the fucking strip club. I was fine. I was slapping titties around. I was having a fucking great time.
You're so good. That's it.
Were they
Zach's got
wearing
the cure.
masks? Were they wearing
Tim.
masks and no clothes?
Well, no, I'll tell you what. The fat bartender, she was like, here's the problem. You ever
Yeah.
go to a strip club and there's like a bartender that's not exactly stripper material?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
They're
twat.
usually kind of hot.
She was like, no, this one
Oh,
was
not
not.
like-
I was in Coopersburg, Pennsylvania at a place called
Ooh.
Silhouettes. It
Woof. Oh my God.
was a buddy of mine's birthday. He was turning
Oh,
23.
good, yeah.
I was like, you
Mazel.
want to go to the titty bar and get fucked up? He was like, oh my God, that sounds great. And I
Great
was like,
friend.
all right, let's go to the titty bar and get fucked up. So we go to the titty bar and get fucked up. He tries to fall in love with this stripper. I tipped the 20. I was
Mm-hmm. Ah,
like,
yeah,
hey, it's
yeah.
his birthday. You're the hottest. Stick around.
Nice.
You know,
What a
'cause
guy.
I know. Well, I know. Hey, I know I sound like I'm not a gentleman, but hear this out.
No, you're a gentleman.
Everyone's doing a job there. I wasn't being creepy. I was just like, hey, it's his birthday. He likes you the most. You know what I mean? Like, I just got to preface that.
Of course.
You know, no one got a blowjob for $20, guys.
No,
okay?
that's not what we thought.
I didn't
now,
think you
now
thought
I'm
that.
thinking it. Now I'm thinking
No,
it.
you're not.
Yeah, now I'm thinking it.
I
I
mean,
can
we
see
go
you
to
being a
Coopersburg,
pimp.
Alex. If you want
Yeah.
to go to Coopersburg, we
Are
can
they
go to
that cheap there? Oh my God.
It was so funny. But no, but the bartender, she was just like, kind of like, you know, she's a little overweight, very overweight. And she just like, she's like, you have to have your mask on. I was like, I'm smoking. We're smoking in here. We're sucking on titties. And you want me to have a mask? There's a communal titty on stage right now. And you're yelling at me about how, yeah. And then they tried to, oh God, they tried to take my beer away at midnight. Because that's the Pennsylvania
don't do
rules.
that.
Cut off.
And it was
Oh,
and it was
fuck.
a fucking yingling. So you guys know what the fuck I did. I looked at her. She goes, I have to take your beer. I was like,
Oh God.
I looked at her. I was like, can I chug it? She's like, you can have a few sips. And I went, right. Slammed this full yingling in her face in like 3 seconds. You know, the Peanuts way. And she was like, I'm going to pretend I didn't see that. And I was like, I'm going to pretend you didn't just say that. So, you know, I may or may not have had a lot of snacks fall into my nose that night. I don't know. It was a
that's
crazy
okay.
evening.
It's a fun
Yeah.
night. It's a friend's
Zach,
birthday.
I miss hugging you, Zach. It's not the
I
same.
miss hugging you.
I miss-
Peter, you and Alex, I'll say this for you as well. You guys are like Italians outside of the family that I consider inside of the family. Like if I were to have kids, you would be Uncle Alex and Uncle Pete.
Oh, I love that.
Like you know what I mean? Like you guys,
Absolutely.
I love you guys.
We've had like, and this is what I miss. Like we've had more laughs standing on the street.
doing nothing.
Like that, yeah, just than in a comedy show. Like that's what I miss. I miss the fucking hangout bullshitting on the street.
You know, I always go back to my birthday at Delmonico's where, like,
Amazing.
I had you get the wine because, like, you know wine more superior than I do. Although I am drinking, I will let you know, I just finished the bottle, but it is a Toscana Sangiovese.
Yeah.
It's a very,
Nice.
I like the Sangiovese. I do. It's right at that level for me.
It's a good
You know what I
drinking.
mean?
It's a good sipping wine. Good with
It's almost
food,
like
but also
table
good
wine.
on
It
its own.
reminds me of the table wine but I got to bring you guys the homemade
I'm
wine
impressed.
from West Virginia. I
Wow.
got Yeah, my Uncle Greg, so he's not on the Italian side, but he's married in, but he's super Italian. He makes his own wine, but I don't think he, like, cuts it how you're supposed to. And it's like one of these fucking jelly jars of his wine, and you're fucking bombed.
Oh, yeah.
Is it
Hell
like
yeah.
is it light pink in color?
No, it's still like, it has a deep red. He uses
Because
like,
I know
you know,
like some of the guys I know that make homemade wine, it's like it's fire going down, but it's always like.
oh no,
like
it doesn't,
light.
brother. I'm telling you, you don't realize how drunk. Like I was drinking it like it was a fucking Pinot,
Yeah.
and I was like, all of a sudden, like 2 jelly jars in, I'm looking at Greg. I'm like, you crazy.
We had a friend named
awesome.
Lucky John. He was a mason, but he used to make homemade wine in the basement. It's
Lucky
fucking-
John. I
amazing.
love that.
That's a fucking Jersey name if I've ever heard it.
Dude, we did it in my.
Oh yeah,
in-
it's fucking Lucky John.
in
Jack
my
Bucket
grandmother's
Donuts.
basement. He used to have one guy, he was a mason. They had a dump truck full of cases of grapes. And there would be like a relay,
This is
getting the
something.
grapes down the basement. And then he had the macerator and he had the stick and he's pushing the grapes in the macerator. And me and my brother one time were hanging out. The guy passed away, Lucky John, rest in peace. But he goes, listen, you guys can come down here, you can watch, but don't ask me questions. He goes, I gotta focus on making the wine. So
Peter,
my brother,
I didn't know you were getting any pussy out there.
Yeah.
did you see?
Yeah.
Was it on camera?
Yeah.
I didn't even realize I was doing that. She's crazy. I love that girl. No, so my brother starts asking her a question. Starts asking Lucky John a question, and Lucky John turns, and the fucking stick gets stuck in the macerator, and
Oh,
you
it
hear a
fucks the whole-
snap,
It fucks
and
it
he
all
goes,
up.
"Everybody out!"
Wait, why? What's going to happen?
'Cause the
he
wood
was
got
mad.
into the
broke the
grapes.
machine.
Oh,
He broke the
shit.
machine, and he goes,
the
"No,
wood
this
got
is why
into-
nobody asked me questions."
He lost his focus.
Oh my god, that's so great. Yeah, my
Bloody
when I
hell.
was a kid, so my mom's Italian family. We come from Pittston, Pennsylvania. And if you've seen The Irishman, make your own
I was
judgment.
gonna say near Scranton, right?
Yeah, I was born in Kingston, Luzerne County. But yeah, Scranton, Wilkes-Barre area, and Pittston is where my mother's family's from. On Synovia Street is where we came in at and all that. But we had a deli, like a specialty Italian specialty store basically. But it was like a candy store back in the day, like a penny candy store. Like my mom used to go there. It was her aunt and uncle, but they were cousins. But you know how we say, you know. And she would go in and it would be penny candy. So like her mom would give her $1 and she'd fucking like buy the store and go nuts. And like, but like when I was a kid, they used to make like the porchetta for scratch.
yeah.
Like they had the most famous porchetta in all of Pittston, and they'd make the
Nice.
sandwiches. And then my uncle Tony, he taught me how to make the prosciutto and the lonza, the sopressata, the capicola, all that stuff. He taught me how to like cure it and hang it for one day
Hang
if
it.
I
You
have
gotta
a
hang
basement.
it. Yep.
Right. And I used to help him every 3 months. I'd take up the stuff. But he would always have a jug of either white or red homemade that someone would drop off to him. And I asked him one time, I was like, who drops this off? He's like, oh, you don't need to know.
Yeah.
And that's all he said. That was like all he fucking said. Because they're
Wow.
both off the boat. They're Gilda came over during the Perón days. She was living in Argentina right after Mussolini took over, and they were living there when Perón was in power. And then they snuck into America. Well, not snuck in. They came the right way. But
No, same thing. But they were in Venezuela during.
Oh yeah, I have family in Venezuela too.
Yep. My
Yeah.
mom was born in Venezuela.
You know, isn't that crazy? There's a ton of Italians in Brazil.
Yep.
Like a lot of
Yeah.
Brazilian people are actually ethnically Italian.
Ethnically Italian.
My
That's right.
father told me wherever the jobs were, people from his town
Yeah.
went.
Yeah, exactly.
There was a boat
Especially
every week.
Sicily, yeah.
Yeah,
Because you're
every
Sicilian.
week.
Pesci, you Sicilian?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're
Yeah,
from
so-
Calabria. Yeah, that's Sicily.
That's close.
It's
Calabria,
close.
you're
It's a
right
little. It's a
above the-
little north. It's kind of close. It's in between
Yeah.
Rome. And,
Well,
I mean,
I'm fucking
Ita-
Perugian. I mean, like, I'm the most north out of all three of us.
oh
but
no, yeah, I'm definitely not up there. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they went. And I always said, like, we ended up in Elizabeth, New Jersey, and I'm like, of all the places in the we could have been in London, Buenos Aires. We ended up in Elizabeth, fucking New Jersey.
Hey, don't you
What are you
talk
gonna do?
shit on Elizabeth, New Jersey. I
Yeah,
love
exactly. Have some respect. What the fuck?
Some
It's
respect.
my hometown. It's my hometown.
Oh, my God, gentlemen.
Zach, we should probably wrap this up. But Zach, it's been amazing.
I love these
having you back.
episodes.
I'm so
I was
glad.
I
gonna
always
say-
love hanging out with you guys. You guys are my favorite. You guys have always been my favorite. And now that I have my own podcast, I'm so glad that you guys are going to come on. Honest to God. Like,
Absolutely.
I can't wait. Yeah, I mean, look,
Seriously.
and you know, if it becomes an in-person thing or if we got to do Zoom, I'm down for either. Honestly,
well,
whatever
if
works.
we can come out to the studio in Philly, I got seats for both of you. We can all
I got
get
a
some
car.
cheesesteaks.
Absolutely.
I'll come pick you, Peter. I'll come pick
Peter.
you up. I don't give a fuck.
I'm at the shore. I'm not too far.
Are you
from
down to
Philly.
do that? I'm down. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Absolutely.
Actually, like after this we'll talk a little bit after
Sure.
we finish up here. But do you mind if I plug a couple of shit?
No, please do.
real quick?
Please do.
Okay,
Please do.
so November 14th, I got the Amaze Theater coming up. That's me, Paul Spratt, Tyler Rothrock. We got the band that's been opening up for my other show that I'll talk to you guys about in a second. They're going to be opening up both shows too, which I'm very excited about. Very good guys, awesome. We starting these comedy shows with some music, which I know is kind of like the backwards way to do it, but I'm telling you
No,
right
that's
now,
cool.
it gives it a party atmosphere. We have a great time. These guys play their ass off. Powder Valley Bang, they're an awesome local band with the high school with a couple of the guys and like the rest, just good dudes, good local dudes. So that's 7 and 9 at the Amaze Theater on November 14th. I also have November 19th. That's going to be my show at House and Barn. We got Josh Accardo. He's coming out. He's got a headline. And then we also got the guys from Drop 10 Podcast Network, which is where my podcasts come from. Neil Wood, Adam Nutter, they're going to be on that show as well. And I'll be hosting along with Powder Valley Bang. They're going to be playing the beginning as well. We're going to try to make sure it's outdoor, but if it's too cold, stop being a pussy.
Yeah.
Other than that, my podcasts are going to be releasing in November as well. Zachy Hour will be releasing, I think, the second week of November. And then the other podcast, which I really didn't get to talk about, but I'll talk to you about it real quick.
Yeah.
It's called Broadway for Breeders. It's the Straight Guy's Guide to Broadway. As
I
you guys
love
know,
it.
As you guys know,
yes.
your listeners may not, but as you guys know, I do have a BFA in theater.
Yes. Absolutely.
Why, I don't fucking know, but like it happened. So I thought it was time to maybe put that degree to use, talk to some of my friends in the industry, and they're gonna. It's actually very similar to your guys' podcast in that someone brings a show to us and we talk about the show. They kind of dissect it for us. I have a co-host, Oliver. He's owns a theater out here that I've actually worked for a lot, and he's been in the business for 20, 30 years. So we just had John Marco on. He's going to be the first episode.
That's a great
I know
guest.
John Marco's been on here. What was his
No, we
movie?
never had him.
No,
on.
we haven't had John Marco.
What?
On, honestly.
How have
we
you
should.
not had John Marco?
We
Get
should.
the fucker on.
We should.
But the thing is, don't talk Italian stuff with him. I took him to Howard. He took me to a fucking gig in Howard Beach one time. This is such a sidetrack. Took him to Howard Beach one time, and it was clearly a mob gig. And he's like, "Yeah, so we're going to Howard Beach." And I'm like, "Do you like?" I was like, "Where'd you get this gig?" He was like, "These guys came up to me at Governor's. They were like really well dressed, and they said that it was someone's birthday, and they wanted comedy at a house party." And I was like,
He really not know?
and the second we get there, I feel like I'm home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's food everywhere. They gave us like fucking money right up front. We're fucking drinking. I'm like, I know these fucking guys.
Oh,
But anyway, so John.
Sounds like a great gig.
He's more of a bagel than the pizza.
Yeah.
The pizza bagel.
Yeah, for
you know what I'm
sure.
saying?
Bit of a
But-
goober, but he's great.
What do
He's
you-
funny as fuck. Yeah.
Goober. But yeah, no, John Marco's going to be our first episode. He brought in falsettos. It's a terrible musical.
Okay.
But we have fun talking about it. And then those are both going to be releasing. So they're bi-weekly in November. Zachy Hour will be releasing second week in November. Broadway for Breeders first week. And then for the rest of the year, it'll pretty much be that schedule. But other than that, guys,
Great.
that's all I got going on.
That's awesome. And I'm assuming people could find that podcast on all the podcast platforms? Or
Yes.
is there...
So You can find that on Spotify. You can find that on iTunes.
Cool.
I think we're looking at YouTube as well.
Yeah.
But if you guys
Do
have
it.
any questions about it, you can always follow me at Zachy Peanuts on Instagram. I post updates daily about that. And then we also have
Nice.
Broadway for Breeders on Instagram at Broadway for Breeders. If you just want to follow that, because that's kind of more of a niche market, and I know you don't want your followers to be all fucked up because I'm a little intense. It's going to be a good time. I've had a really great time working on everything. I had a great time hanging out with you guys. I love you guys so much.
We love you, man.
Like I said, it's my favorite podcast to listen to, and the fact that I get to be a part of it sometimes just my heart.
It's warming my heart to hear that. But
Water.
it's making me think the next time we have you on, we have to have some hot girl or some pretty girl to just so that you could have it play out in front of you, man. That I would love to see you.
I like the voyeur aspect on
All
that.
right,
That's
all
more
right.
fun. Because I know if I'm in the room,
Yeah.
the magic won't happen.
It might
Is it
not.
that-
You're right.
Is it
You're
that
right.
obvious? Do I really change that much?
I don't want. Don't tell him. Don't tell him.
What do I
It's gonna ruin it. You know what, Zach? He can't help it. It doesn't
Because
matter.
I hate when I see
No,
other
you're
guys
right.
do that.
Oh my
I
god.
hate when the guys are like overly nice to the pretty girl, and I do that too.
It's not overly
No,
nice.
it's not that. It's
not
just
that.
you being a charming gentleman, Peter.
Yes.
But, like when me and you were walking down the street and we passed like a shitty restaurant right after we just ate, and I have to go in. It's a little like that. You know what I mean? It's like, what are you doing?
It's a very strange analogy. but I
That's
get
kind
it.
of good. That's a good analogy.
I get it.
It is,
Whereas I'm
it-
like, oh, we just had a beautiful meal.
It's like that. It's like that because it's like every time. It's like, you know what I mean? Every time.
Yeah, like it doesn't
It's
matter how
every
good the meal
restaurant
is.
you pass. Every time. Like
Yeah, I mean,
It's-
Alex
yeah.
has walked down the street with me. Like, I'll hit a papaya dog, a Burger King, and then we'll go eat at fucking Delmonico's.
And
Like,
I'm
And
not.
he's like,
I'm less.
wait, are you
No,
hungry?
but-
You want to go eat?
I'm less.
that's that's the impression. Who does? Andre
Andre
Kim,
Kim.
right? Hey,
that's
I
right.
think I just had to. I think my uncle just threw some guy in the fucking river. Want to eat?
Are you hungry? You want to go eat?
You hungry? You want to eat? Like, not looking at you? No, Andre does the best impression of me. I have to
Yeah,
say.
he's good at that, man. He's really
Yeah.
good at that.
Oh, I love Andre.
Yeah. Oh man, I miss that guy too. I can't wait to see you, buddy. If it's on the podcast or if it's just we figure something else out, that'd be.
We'll
great.
figure something out. I'll try
Yeah.
to get if I'm still here in December, running my show. I would love to have you guys come down as well.
Yeah,
I
I'm
mean,
thinking
if
about
you
doing
guys-
something. My birthday's in the middle of the fucking winter, but it's in January, beginning of January.
Mine is too. So maybe we do a joint thing.
We should do something, even if it's
Was
just
that
like.
last January we went to Delmonico's?
Fuck yeah, brother.
Yeah,
Oh
I guess
my
that makes sense.
God.
Yeah, right. It
I
had to
know.
be.
That's crazy.
I know. Did you see the veal chops I made the other day?
No.
I'll
This
send you a
is great.
picture. Fantastic.
You're
right.
getting to see behind the what do you call it? The
This
real.
is behind the music.
I was gonna say the real baseball. What? Something baseball.
inside
the
baseball?
real baseball. Woohoo! You fucking nerd.
Oh man, you called me out on it, and I deserve.
I love you,
it.
Alex. I
That's-
love you.
Thank you.
You are a
I
nerd,
love you
though.
too. I am a bit. Yes.
Well, I'm gonna go be mean to a pretty girl just out of principle after this.
Attaboy, attaboy.
Couldn't help it if
Hey,
you tried, man.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, why you burning it? Why you burning it? You're
Oh.
burning.
So,
I'm not-
defeats its own purpose.
It looks like it defeats its own purpose. It looks like a piece of charcoal. Jesus Christ.
Oh god.
Oh man. Well, that was perfect.
Anyway.
Yeah. Man,
Gentlemen,
great
sin non
episode.
uno. Until
Yes.
next time, I love you guys very much.
Arrivederci.
Yes. Cheers, guys. Bye, everyone.